This week's theme is why don't hurricanes happen at the equator? Have a couple paragraphs to read through, and then we'll move on to respond to the true false in part A and the fill in the blank for part B, so follow along as I read. Anyone who has lived on the east coast of the United States is probably familiar with hurricanes. A hurricane is a severe tropical storm that forms over the ocean, producing strong winds and heavy rains that rotate around a central eye. The eye of the hurricane is the calmest part of the storm, with only light winds and fair weather. It typically ranges in size from 20 to 40 miles in diameter, while the hurricane itself may stretch as many as 600 miles across. As the winds of a hurricane spiral around and around, they push seawater up into a rising swell within the eye. This is called a storm surge. As it approaches land, the storm surge becomes a huge wave that may extend as high as 9 meters or 30 feet above sea level. When the wave reaches land, it causes flooding along the coast. In fact, storm surges are often the most dangerous part of a hurricane. So part A wants us to write true or false for each statement. Number 1, hurricanes form over land. Well, if we see in the second sentence in the first paragraph, it says a hurricane is a severe tropical storm that forms over the ocean. So we know number 1 would be false. Number 2, the eye is the most dangerous part of a hurricane. Well, if we go down to the third sentence, first paragraph, it says the eye of a hurricane is the calmest part of the storm. So we know that number 2 would also be false. Number 3, as it moves toward land, a storm surge will grow. Well, if we look in the second paragraph, third sentence, as it approaches land, the storm surge becomes a huge wave that may extend as high as 9 meters or 30 feet. So it talks about how it's going to increase in size, so that would be true. And fourth statement, hurricanes are tropical storms. We can go back, second sentence, first paragraph, says a hurricane is a severe tropical storm, so that would also be true. Part B, we're just filling in the blank with words from the passage. We heard in the news that the hurricane was so large its blank measured more than 400 miles. So that's our vocab word for the day, and we're familiar with this. Diameter, we just did an activity where it, involved the planets, and we had to find similar objects and scale the diameter. So that's what they're talking about there. Number 1, fill in the blank, would be diameter. In the blank of the storm, it was sunny and calm. So the calmest part of the storm would be, remember from that first paragraph, the eye. And the eye of the hurricane is the calmest part of the storm. Number 3, when the hurricane reached shore yesterday, the blank destroyed many homes along the coast. So this would be the most dangerous part of the storm. Then that would be the storm surge. There it is, week 15, day 1 bell work. Hope you followed along, made corrections if you needed to, and have a good day.